Hello and welcome back. Today I'm out in the forest doing one of my history field trips, and so there's my motorhome. I'm in this forest parking. It's just before 7 in the morning. I've been up for 2 hours and I found this wonderful place to park my vehicle, and so I came here last night. We'd been in a place called Bolimów, dropped a friend off in Skierniewice, and I've come here. I'm going to talk about the First World War in this area. And where is this area? Let's have a look at it right now. So we've got, this is a map of the Bolimów regional park, and so on this map itself, I might have to change I'm gonna have to change, there we go, that'll make it a bit easier. Put the camera to 1:1. Here is Bolimów, but before we do that, let's go here. Here is Skierniewice, and if I come over this way, here is Żyrardów, which I would say is the beginning of the Warsaw conurbation, really. And so from Żyrardów, you do go out into the countryside, going through towns, going in as you travel in eastward direction, but effectively Żyrardów is the beginning of Warsaw, I would say. I think that's fair enough to say. Right, at the end of 1914, so there's been a number of battles. The Battle of Łódź, Battle of Brzezinę, which I've described in other videos, and so the line of the front was on this river, which is more or less, you can sort of make it out. This is the river Rawka, R-A-W-A, and it's above all noted for this place here, Bolimów. So that's the place I was at yesterday, and I shall be returning there because there's all sorts of interesting stuff. Bolimów is the first place where gas was used in an attack, a mass attack, that is, because it seems as though there were sort of tear gas grenades as early as August 1914. But in Bolimów, on the 31st of January 1915, there was the massive use of tear gas. Effectively didn't have much of an effect because it was so cold. Then next time they used chlorine gas, and there's two big attempts at breakthrough in May and June of 1915, and the object from here is to go in the direction of Warsaw. There is an argument also that this was a spoiling attack, and the main attack came from, it's not on this map, but it's up, so way up to the north, near the border at Prasnich, or the former border, I should say. In fact, it was the border of the Second World War as well, because there were battles in the region of Prasnich in September 1939 as well. So effectively, at the end of 1914, we've got the situation. German army is, or Prussian army really, is to the west, and the Russian army is here to the east. We've got here Skierniewice, which is the large town here. I am currently at this place here, or just outside this place here, which is called Ruda, and the front line, as far as I can tell, is very, very close to this area where I am now. Now, I've had a bit of a prowl around and I can't see anything, but bear in mind it's the local knowledge which is important, and I don't actually have it. Now, up here in Bolimów yesterday, we saw a very interesting feature, which was in this area. So we've got where the front would have been, the river is there, and in this area, Joachim Mogiła is or Jakimów Mogiła, I should say, there is a crater, and that crater was created by mining. That's not landmine, but you dig a mine, and then you fill it full of explosives, and then you blow it up. And at that point, that's just something associated with the Western Front more than with the Eastern Front, but the crater is still there today. And when we read the accounts of what actually happened there, there's some pretty horrific things. And I'll give you one account here where people were still trapped maybe if only made their head or the upper part of the body, and they were trapped between the lines. So the Germans were attacking one way and Russians the other, and so the Russians are firing over the heads of their colleagues, maybe, and I say colleague, maybe they were colleagues, but the people they knew and who were actually trapped. So that must have been a pretty horrific, really, something like out of Dante, something like you've got it trapped. And there are even accounts by British war correspondents at the time of what actually was going on there. I'll try and do this in more details, actually, because I do have access to what was actually written. Now, as I come down here, we can see, I'll translate this for you. Returning the memory of the First World War in the area and region of Skierniewice. Here are some things, artifacts found during searches and archaeological work in the area of the Skierniewice Forestry Commission. And so you can see there we've got things like Zapalnik, what's that? It's the fuse, a shrapnel fuse, 7.62 centimeter. We've got things, buttons. Number 2 is a button, number 3 is a bayonet, and number 4 is part of an artillery shell, number 5 is part of an artillery shell, etc. And so you've got these things, they're pieces of uniform. 15, that's a bayonet, and this is so you can see how the bayonet has been destroyed by lying in the mud and things of the last type. There's another bayonet as well, also 1891. There are, so occasionally you find things like that. I mean, that bayonet's intact, but often you can find they're broken in two or something of that nature. So anyway, these things turn up. I mean, when I found things, I've handed them in, and the reason, or given it to somebody. The reason for this is, I find things, not that often, but I never know what to do with them. I'm carrying enough junk around with me, not to need any more. And anyway, so here we've got also a little bit of a description. Now, one thing I'd like to point out about the Ravka, the Rava line is it was quite easy to defend. So in south of Bolimów, you had areas which where the eastern bank really is quite high. It's quite curious from that point of view. And we do also have descriptions here of what it was like. So fortunately now this is written in German, so it's been translated into Polish, and now I'm translating it into English, so it mightn't be exactly the same. Things get lost. But in December 1914, in near Skierniewice, there was an attempt by the 99th Reserve Brigade of the 50th Reserve Infantry Division to force the Rava River, and so the bank on the eastern side was a high escarpment, and where the Russians had built defensive positions. So it was described by Arthur Tormalen, who was a volunteer. 20th of December was our turn, and to get we needed to give cover for the construction of a bridge, and this was our battle chest. What's that in English? Baptism of fire. This was our baptism of fire, and in our group 2 people were killed, 2 were injured. The construction of the bridge, due to the large losses, didn't actually happen. We had around 20 killed, and we were under heavy fire. Albrecht was hit in the hand and the head and his back. We went back to our trenches. When night fell and the fire weakened, our people were able to withdraw. I took Albrecht to the medical aid point, and I left him there. And I also received. I'd also been hit and another friend had 4 wounds also. One through part of his uniform and one through his shoe. Anyway, so I did that rather quickly without preparation, but anyway, so it wasn't fluid. But anyway, so that is somebody here trying to build a bridge over this river down here. Now the thing is that I've used the GPS, and I've got to say nowadays it's much better than it usually is, but thing is I couldn't actually establish where the front line was here, although I believe it to be about 100 meters down there. Oh no, I got that wrong, you see. I've prepared myself. I see. If I'd come out here properly before I started doing doing this, it would give me better. So the GPS was possibly incorrect. I'm now taking that back because I believe that this here, there we have it, there's the river, the Ravka. It mightn't look like much, at least I think this is the river Ravka, although I thought it was slightly. But anyway, there you go. So this would have been the front line where I'm at now. Attempt to build it. There's a wax wing flying past. And there you go. There's the river Ravka. So I've walked around before down this because I went the other way. Look at that, I can't stand when people throw bottles and things like that into the river. I mean, this is a lovely nature here, and people ruin it. So I came down here last night. It was dark. It was nearly 10 o'clock, and this is what I really like this about you getting up really early and you start wandering around, you can see things. Absolutely, for me, absolutely fantastic. You know, I'll open this up a bit so you can see a bit better. And I find this type of life really exciting. The trouble is I do things, then it's hard to put them together, so I've got stuff going back years. And there you have a little shrine. You see these things all over the place, and if you want to do a spot of praying, you can actually sit down right there. So here we have it, frontline position from the end of 1914. Obviously the line, eventually the Russians had to pull back, and Warsaw was captured in the summer of 1915. But some of the area, yesterday the escarpment was, I would have to say, about what, 12, 13 meters high on the other side of the Ravka river. I can hear the train in the background. Good, so this is me now wandering around here, signing out. Also today I'm going to prepare, I hope, a video on, or at least do the filming for it, on the ghetto in Żyrardów and the fate of the Jewish population there. These are the names of, I think they're the numbers of the homes here. So if you look, somebody lives in Samice, if they live in 107, 1 and 2, it's to the right, or Ruda down there. One of the problems coming out in the forest is you get the insects. Now I have actually taken part in clinical trials to find a cure, or a vaccine anyway, for borreliosis. In English it's known as Lyme disease. Unfortunately I've had it twice, and I'm really glad that I can actually take part in this. So I feel quite privileged to have done this this research, because the tick bites you, and then you don't know it's bitten you, and you can scare. I mean, you can't see it. I mean, if it hadn't been one time, last time I had it, or last 2 times I was bitten, it was only through using the cellular phone and blowing up the picture of a speck on me that I saw that this was a tick. Otherwise I just wouldn't have noticed whatsoever. So I'm using now, obviously I spray myself quite thoroughly, but even so, sometimes you think there's no requirements. Obviously in a place like this you've got to spray yourself, there's no two ways about it. But in places where you can be, and you think sometimes it's no cause for it, and the tick makes an appearance. So I wish I was better at doing the maps on the for describing battles, and I just don't really have the knowledge to make maps. And if I did, I think I could make this much easier to understand. Actually, my first opinion was just that when I came and did a quick walk today, I thought the front line was here. But anyway, we now found out I was wrong about that. There's a lovely lavender field in there. And when I get out and I do things like this is May, and obviously the second battles, when they're trying to force that were at this time of the year, because the Ravka line wasn't really forced until the summer of 1915, so it stood here for some time. Yeah, there's the lavender field. So the GPS actually gave me this as the position that worked out as being the front line here where we're standing right now, so it was wrong. You see here now things are coming alive. Skierniewice is quite an important town, as is Joradów, and so we've got the noises, but at night it was super quiet. All you had the noises of the forest. People sometimes ask, aren't you frightened of sleeping in the forest? Well, no, why? I also sleep in graveyards. I've got videos of me. I spent the night, sort of military cemetery, spent the night in Beaujeud's death camp, and I've also slept in Gross Rosen inside it, and no, why? But then again, I don't believe in suspect things that go pop in the night. And there's plenty of things to be frightened, genuine things to be frightened of, such as ticks, without being frightened of imaginary characters as well. Another thing you get when you come these, you get this wonderful. It's not just the contact with nature; it's the smell of the forest, the different types of wood. Now, I can't tell from the smell what type of wood it is, but I can differentiate. It's not the same as it was in that forest, for example. And when you come into the pine forests, above all, it's a particularly nice scent. Or maybe that's why we use pine in all sorts of air fresheners and the likes. And here in the, you might be able to hear. I can't tell you. No, I do know quite a lot about. Oh, sorry, I'll rephrase that. I probably know more about birds than the average person, and Lots of great spotted woodpeckers. That's the black and white one with a bit of red on it. And you hear that, the chicks, possibly in the tree over there. Oh, getting noisier. And the best time of the day to get out is early in the morning. Get up at 5 o'clock, get out as soon as it gets light. You can see so much, you've got this contact with nature. Oh, it's fantastic. I was thinking that 2 years ago today, I was in Ukraine, and I just came back to Kyiv, and there I spent, I had a couple of days off, so to speak, to see Kyiv. The shots I've got of Baba Yar were taken, wasn't 2 years ago, it's 2 years ago tomorrow from Baba Yar. Also there, in being in the Baba Yar forest, and there's one thing I actually filmed, I have used. You've got it's a park. It's effectively more or less in the centre of Kyiv. Well, I'm exaggerating a bit, but it's very close to the centre. And you've got there's a woodpecker. It's a smaller species of woodpecker, and it's drilling into the tree. And in the background, you've got the sirens going off for a. As it happened, it wasn't an air raid there, but in Kyiv. But you can hear the sirens. So you've got this place of utter horror by the Nazis from Germany, and you've got the horror brought about from the modern day Nazis from the Kremlin, and but then you've got this wonderful nature at the same time. And I had this idea of the last few days doing a Holocaust related video where I would actually intersperse the beauty of the places that I'm in, to contrast that with the railway lines leading to these places of utter horror. See, here's a couple of well-trodden trails. So anyway, so here I am just behind the lines. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you've found this little walk and talk of interest. Doing something like this is that obviously when I do things off the top of my head, I can make mistakes, and then that can put them in. Mind you, there's sometimes mistakes go on the things which I've researched as well. But if I do something like that and I say something which is an error, something to make say something silly like when the First World War started in 2014 or something like that, and you don't realise immediately, then afterwards I can come back and put it in the pin a comment. The World War One actually started 1914, not 2014, or something like that. These very easy to do mistakes. They should be caught when I write a text out earlier. So you can hear the planes. The airport for Warsaw is it's in the southwest of the capital. So I'm, currently to the southwest, and that is to be also to be expected. Now, as I've never been here before, I'm just going to check this. Just going to check my location on this thing here, and so look at how close are we to the front line. If I come down here, I possibly will. So I'll continue the video a little bit. Hey, there's a spider's web here. I'm walking. Poor spider. I've just broken the web. Alright. I try not to break spiders' webs because I do absolutely understand how much work the spider puts in to get the web there. I used to do tours for people, but I've stopped that. You get people, there's all sorts of problems and things. So people wouldn't turn up, after I've actually had the expenses for the preparation. Oh, that's nice, man. Now, isn't that incredible? There's the duck. We can hear some frogs. This sort of thing I find really attractive. I mean, if you like mosquitoes as well, they're pretty good places to be. Stagnant water. But it looks wonderful. Particularly in the early morning light. Oh, and there's the train. Which I could see, and presumably came out on the camera. As not much more than a flash. Time for another look at the map. I'm trying to determine this by the position of the river. No. Yeah, the signal's too weak. So it looks as though it might be down here. Unfortunately, I've lost my direction. One thing with these ticks I mentioned earlier, the deer tick, which gives the Lyme disease, it hangs out on ferns above all, and my trousers will be soaking wet now as well. So this is I think the river's down there. Yeah, I'm pretty certain it is, to be honest. And so this Russian positions would have been around here. Well, I'm not going to go any further without putting on different clothing. I've got protective clothing for this type of thing, and that is, I think, what needs to be worn from proceeding down there. Gets pretty hot, but at least it stops you getting bitten by ticks and things. See, somebody's left a sign on the tree. Let's see what it says. Hello, Anya. No? No. Hello, hello. Have you used packaging? I think it says take it. I can't see the word now. Take it with you, I think it says. Zabieraj. Is that? Yeah. Have you used packaging? Zabieraj ze sobą. Take it with you. Okay, great. So I'm going to go back now. I think I might go down there. But anyway, I won't bore you. Thanks so much for being with me, and I hope you found this interesting. For me, it's absolutely wonderful to be out in the countryside and to do things of this nature. And so, anyway, so all the best. Horse in the field. I can hear the horse, but I can't see it. So, thanks so much for being with me. That's the third time I think I've said this now. And all the best from me in Poland. I upload every day. Sorry, I don't upload every day. I upload every Friday at 21:15, and I'm starting. You hear that noise? Yeah, I wonder what that noise is. Every day, every Friday. Oh, I get my channels mixed up. I upload on my history site every Friday at 2000 hours. I'm sometimes uploading shorts as well. I'm thinking of doing 2 videos a week, so this might end up on a Tuesday. But for the moment, thanks for being with me, and all the best for now. Come on.